I never meant for heels to become a fault line in my life. They started as a private experiment. One late night when the city was quiet and my apartment felt like the only place in the world that belonged to me. I slid into a pair of black pumps I'd found in a thrift store, the leather soft and oddly forgiving, and something in my chest unclenched. Standing on the balls of my feet, I felt taller and smaller at the same time, more exposed and, paradoxically, safer. That complicated glide between courage and vulnerability became my small, secret ritual. My name is Noah. I manage accounts at a boutique PR agency downtown. By day, my job is clean lines and controlled narratives, shaping how other people look to the world. We sell polish, not truth. Presentations, networking dinners, client calls. The work is pressure-stitched to my schedule. People assume because I work in communications I have words ready for everything, but I keep one sentence folded and locked away, the one that would explain why I practice walking in heels at midnight. I'm not a crossdresser because of some cinematic revelation or a single defining moment. It grew like a habit that tasted like possibility. I like the fit of a dress in a way I like the fit of a sentence. When something aligns, it feels inevitable. I like the slow, exacting ritual of makeup, the way fine eyeliner turns expression into language. It's a selfish, gentle practice, enough to be mine and small enough not to demand a new life. For the first year it stayed exactly that, a private thing tucked into the margins of my life. Emma knows most of me. She knows my voice, my coffee order, the stories I tell when I'm trying to be funny. She knows I take my shoes off the same way every night, and that I refuse to get a cat even though she wants one. She does not know Lena. Lena is the name I give the person who is brave enough to tilt her head at the mirror and hold someone else's eyes. Lena has better lipstick. Lena breathes differently. Emma and I met at a rooftop bar during the agency's summer party. She was wearing a thrift shop blazer like armor and laughed at my worst joke before I could finish it. She is blunt in a way that is both terrifying and kind. She calls things as she sees them and then stitches them back together with small acts of thoughtfulness. We moved in together because it felt adult and sensible, and because the rent split made spreadsheets look like romance. She makes calendars for everything: date nights, vacations, laundry. I love her because she makes the world comprehensible. That's why the secrecy is a constant pinch. I don't hide Lena because I think she's shameful. I hide her because I owe Emma steadiness. Her mother is the kind of person who keeps records of conversations in the tone she uses to speak about them later, and Emma has been raised to assume certain shapes of life. A partner who doesn't surprise in ways that matter. I don't want to be an upheaval in that ledger. At the same time, Lena is not simply a costume to be folded away. She is a truth that sneaks up on me when the apartment is dark and Emma's laundry hums in the other room. Then there's Ryan. Ryan is our roommate, 27, perpetually untidy, a barista/amateur videographer who thinks every late-night idea should be filmed on his phone. He keeps skateboard stickers on the refrigerator and an arsenal of wireless speakers in his closet. He is the kind of person who laughs first and apologizes later, which is both his charm and his hazard. He calls himself a prankster and treats social boundaries like a playground. He lives on the edge of empathy and spectacle. I like Ryan most of the time. He brings home bad takeout and better playlists. He is the person who will take the trash out without being asked and will also post 3 questionable Snapchats at 2 a.m. He's harmless, generally, but pranks are his religion. He maps the apartment for potential setups, the perfect time to swap sugar for salt, the ideal moment to send an embarrassing message from my logged-in phone. He sees people as characters in his ongoing gag reel, and the world as his stage. Which is why the idea of a harmless joke with shoes terrifies me even before it happens. Shoes, in my life, are not laughable. They are a seam I stitch through slowly, reverently. A heel isn't a prop. It's a posture, an hour of rehearsal, and a small, private ceremony. Ryan treats those things like props. He thinks vulnerabilities are funny unless you tell him they're not, and then he apologizes in the language of memes. Our apartment is a narrow 2-bedroom in a building that smells faintly of laundry detergent and the city. Emma's side of the closet is sensible. Blazers, block heels, a stack of dresses for date night. My side hides soft colors between my neutral shirts, a place I organize Lena's things into obsession-level neatness, so no one will notice. The way the wig sits, the way eyeliner needs to be kept at room temperature, the precise order of brushes. I keep Lena's clothes in a shoebox under the bed, wrapped in the small dignity of folded tissue. It is a life built on balances. What I show and what I don't, what I owe to love and what I owe to myself. I will confess, in the quiet that came after 3 years of togetherness, I sometimes fantasized about telling Emma. I rehearsed the sentence 1,000 times, different cadences for different outcomes. The truth is, I wanted honesty, but I also wanted control over the reveal. The right time, the right mood, a dinner with wine, an explanation that had structure. Real life, of course, has no sense of timing. It prefers the clumsy and the sudden. On a Wednesday, I had a client pitch that could change everything at work. I put on a suit the way armor fits a soldier and walked into the conference room with a practiced calm that contained a tremor. Our agency thrives on spin, on persuasion. We dress and speak to make belief happen. At 5 that evening, the pitch was a success. I staggered home on adrenaline and relief, which is when Ryan welcomed me at the door with his grin and a camera balanced on his shoulder. He said, "You should loosen up, man. Tonight's perfect for a bit of fun." His eyes flicked to the shoebox under my bed with a curiosity I hadn't invited. The air tightened in a familiar way. I laughed because the world asked me to, but a small part of me, the part that measures danger in heartbeats, told me to watch Ryan's hands. People think secrets are dramatic. Mostly they are banal and patient, like a stain that sits until you deal with it. Lena had been patient for years. I didn't know then that a single afternoon of Ryan's mischief could unspool that patience into something the size of a prank gone wrong. I only knew the apartment felt thinner the moment he stepped inside. I only knew I was tired of rehearsing honesty for a future I couldn't promise. That night, Lena slept in her box under the bed. I made a coffee and tried to arrange my face into the expression of someone who could ignore a roommate's theatrics. I didn't know my life was about to tilt on a heel, or that the joke Ryan called harmless would one day refuse to be laughed away. Alex had never been the type to take dares seriously, but Ryan always knew how to push his buttons. His roommate was the kind of guy who lived for pranks, flour in the hair dryer, cling film across the bathroom doorway, fake spiders in cereal boxes. Normally Alex laughed them off, but this time, Ryan had crossed a line. It had started with a pair of shoes. Glossy black stilettos, perched in the middle of their small apartment living room, catching the afternoon light like some kind of forbidden treasure. Next to them, a yellow sticky note in Ryan's messy handwriting read, "Slip into these, or I tell Emma what I found in your closet." Winky face. Alex's blood had run cold.
Emma.
His girlfriend of nearly 2 years. Sweet, thoughtful Emma, who trusted him, who always talked about the future like it was something they were building together. She couldn't know. Not about the wig. Not about the stockings. Not about the half-baked experiment Alex had hidden away in a shoebox under his gym clothes. It had been stupid, a curiosity, nothing more. One late night, after a few too many drinks, Ryan had teased him about always folding Emma's laundry so carefully. "Bet you'd look hot in half her clothes," he had said, laughing, nudging Alex's shoulder. Alex had rolled his eyes, but something in that careless comment had burrowed into his brain. That night, when Emma was away visiting her sister, he had gone online and ordered the cheapest wig he could find, a pair of stockings, and lipstick that promised all-day wear. When they arrived, he had tried them on in secret. Just once.
Just to see.
He had caught his reflection in the mirror and felt different. Not himself, and yet not a stranger either. There had been a strange thrill in it, a mix of shame and electricity running under his skin. And then he had shoved it all away, convinced it was a mistake. But Ryan had found it. And now here Alex was, staring at the shoes in the living room, knowing his roommate wouldn't let this go until he played along. His heart pounded as he picked them up. They were heavier than he expected, the heels sharp and thin. His fingers trembled as he slipped off his socks and slid his bare feet inside. The fit was snug, almost too snug, forcing his arches higher than they'd ever gone. He wobbled, catching himself on the arm of the couch. Ryan emerged from the kitchen with a beer in hand, grinning like a kid on Christmas morning. Well, well. Look at you. Shut up, Alex muttered, trying to keep his balance. His legs looked alien beneath him, his posture tilted, his muscles straining to adjust. Ryan smirked, pulling out his phone.
Relax, man.
You're killing it. I mean, you've got the legs for it, not gonna lie. Alex's cheeks burned. He wanted to rip the heels off, to throw them across the room and storm out. But part of him, some quiet, twisted part, didn't wanna. That part liked the way the heels forced him to move differently, the way they made his calves flex and lengthen. That part liked Ryan's stare, the way it lingered just a little too long. Get your picture and let me take these off, Alex said through gritted teeth. Ryan chuckled, snapping a photo. Don't worry, bro. Your secret's safe with me for now. For the next week, Alex tried to forget. He buried himself in work, spent extra time at the gym, and avoided Ryan as much as possible. But the memory clung to him like smoke. Every time he closed his eyes, he felt the curve of the arch, the click of the heel against the floor. He caught himself staring at women's shoes on the subway, his mind betraying him with thoughts he didn't dare finish. And then came the second prank. It was Friday night. Alex had just gotten home from work, exhausted, ready to collapse. When he opened the door to his room, he froze. Laid out neatly on his bed was a full outfit, a tight red dress, sheer black stockings, a long brunette wig, and makeup scattered across his pillow. Another sticky note rested on top. Time for round 2. Don't make me knock on Emma's door. Alex's hands shook as he crumpled the note. Ryan had gone too far. This wasn't a joke anymore, it was blackmail. He stormed into the living room where Ryan was sprawled on the couch, laughing at something on his phone. Seriously? What the hell is wrong with you? Alex snapped, holding up the note. Ryan raised an eyebrow, unbothered.
Relax.
It's just a bit of fun. You looked good last time, and I figured why not step it up? This isn't funny. You can't keep doing this. Ryan shrugged, sipping his beer. I can do whatever I want. Unless, of course, you want Emma to know what's hiding under those gym shorts in your closet. Alex felt the blood drain from his face. Ryan had him cornered, and they both knew it. That night, Alex sat on the edge of his bed staring at the outfit. His mind screamed at him to throw it all away, to march into Ryan's room and put an end to this once and for all. But another voice whispered in the dark corners of his thoughts. What if you tried it? Just once. No one has to know. His fingers brushed the fabric of the dress. It was softer than he expected, clinging to his skin as he pulled it over his head. The stockings were smoother, sliding up his legs with a strange, electric warmth. When he placed the wig over his head and saw himself in the mirror, his stomach twisted. He didn't look like Alex anymore. The makeup was harder. His hands fumbled with the eyeliner, smeared the lipstick, but even with the imperfections, his reflection unsettled him. His jaw looked softer, his eyes wider. The dress hugged his frame in ways his usual hoodies never did. And then he slipped into the heels again. The same rush, the same dizzying thrill, but amplified. He walked across the room, each step uncertain but exhilarating. He caught his reflection in the mirror and froze. For the first time, he didn't just see himself in women's clothes. He saw someone else. Someone who could exist if he let them. The next morning, Alex woke up with the wig on the floor and the dress crumpled in the corner. He told himself it was over, that it had been a one-time lapse, nothing more. But Ryan knew better. Every time Ryan smirked at him, every time he made some sly comment about Alexandra, Alex's stomach knotted. Worse, Emma had started to notice something was off. You've been distracted lately, she said one evening as they cooked dinner together. Is everything okay? Alex forced a smile. Yeah, just work stuff. Deadlines, you know. But inside, he was unraveling. Every night, the temptation grew stronger. The clothes in his room weren't just Ryan's prank anymore. They were calling to him. Some nights he resisted. Other nights, he gave in, locking the door, pulling the dress over his head, painting his lips red until his reflection blurred with possibility. Each time, the line between dare and desire blurred further. And Ryan wasn't letting him forget. One Saturday afternoon, Alex came home to find Ryan waiting with a camera. "Hey, Alexandra. Want to do a little photo shoot?" Alex's heart dropped. "Stop calling me that."
Why?
"It suits you." Ryan grinned, tossing the camera in the air. "Come on, put on the heels. Let's see what you've got." Alex wanted to scream. He wanted to throw Ryan out of the apartment. But instead, he found himself back in front of the mirror, sliding into the shoes, feeling the familiar rush flood his veins. Ryan's camera clicked. "Perfect. You're a natural." Alex's chest tightened. The game had stopped being funny. It wasn't even a prank anymore. It was a trap. And he wasn't sure he wanted to escape. That was the beginning of the end. The pranks turned into rituals. Ryan always found new outfits, always pushed Alex a little further. Dresses became skirts, skirts became lingerie. Makeup went from clumsy smears to careful, practiced strokes. Alex's reflection shifted day by day until he barely recognized the man staring back at him. And yet, he couldn't stop. Every time he tried to resist, Ryan reminded him of the secret. Every time he thought about telling Emma, the fear of her disgust crushed him. And every time he slipped into those heels, he felt more alive than he ever had before. It was dangerous. It was humiliating. It was intoxicating. And it was only the beginning. Alex didn't remember when the pranks had stopped being pranks. Somewhere between the first pair of heels and the red dress, between Ryan's laughter and his sly encouragements, the line had blurred. Now, his nights were no longer his own. He stood in front of the mirror, the wig brushed smooth, eyeliner sharp, his lips painted in a shade of crimson he would never dare to wear outside these walls. The heels clicked on the hardwood floor, steady now, as if his body had adapted to them. The man he knew himself to be was fading, replaced by someone else, someone Ryan called Alexandra. And Ryan was always watching. "Spin for me," Ryan said, lounging on the couch with his phone, pretending this was all harmless fun. "You've gotten good at this. Like, too good." Alex swallowed hard, obeying despite himself. The skirt flared as he turned, catching the air, catching Ryan's grin. His stomach twisted. This wasn't supposed to feel like this. It wasn't supposed to make his chest tighten or his skin flush with heat. "See?" Ryan chuckled. "Told you heels suit you. You should thank me." "Thank you." Alex snapped, but his voice cracked, betraying him. "You've been blackmailing me for weeks." Ryan shrugged. "Blackmail's such an ugly word. I'm just giving you a push. Admit it, you'd never have gotten this far on your own." Alex froze. Because as much as he hated it, Ryan was right. The worst part wasn't Ryan's control. It was Emma. Emma had started asking more questions, watching him with concerned eyes that saw too much. "You've been different lately," she said one evening, stirring pasta sauce at the stove. "Quiet.
Distant.
Are you sure it's just work?" Alex forced a laugh, his palms sweating.
Yeah.
"Just deadlines." But she didn't look convinced. And that was the danger. Emma coming over unannounced. She had a spare key. What if she walked in one of these nights, when Ryan had him dressed up, when his lipstick was still fresh? That fear gnawed at him constantly. Yet he couldn't stop. The more Ryan pushed, the deeper Alex sank. He learned how to contour his face, how to hide the sharpness of his jaw. He learned how to paint his nails without smudging. He learned the way skirts changed his posture, the way stockings clung to his thighs. He hated himself for loving it. The breaking point came one Saturday night. Ryan had gone too far this time. Instead of leaving clothes on the bed, he had bought a full outfit, a silky emerald dress, matching heels, jewelry that glittered under the light. He tossed it to Alex with a smirk.
"Big night," he said.
Alex frowned. "What do you mean, big night?" Ryan leaned forward, his grin sharp. "We're going out." Alex's blood ran cold.
No.
Absolutely not. "Oh, come on. You've been practicing for weeks. You pass.
Trust me.
No one will even look twice." "That's insane. Someone will recognize me." "Not if you do it right. Not if you really commit." Alex shook his head, panic clawing at his chest. But Ryan's eyes glittered with something dangerous. Or, Ryan said slowly, I could send those pictures to Emma tonight. Your call. Alex's knees buckled. He wanted to scream, to fight, to run. But instead, hours later, he found himself in Ryan's car, the dress hugging his frame, the wig perfectly styled, makeup flawless under the streetlights. His heart hammered so hard it hurt. Relax, Ryan whispered as they pulled into a downtown bar. Just be Alexandra tonight. That's all. The bar was loud, crowded, dim enough that shadows blurred faces. Still, every laugh, every glance made Alex want to bolt. He clung to Ryan's side, terrified that someone would see through him. But something strange happened. No one stared. No one pointed. To everyone else, he wasn't Alex in a dress. He was Alexandra. Men glanced at him with interest. Women brushed past without a second thought. The bartender smiled as if he were just another customer. And slowly, Alex's panic shifted into something else. He walked to the bathroom, heels steady, and caught his reflection in the mirror. For the first time, he didn't see a man pretending. He saw someone who could exist in the world. Someone confident. Someone alive. The thought both thrilled and terrified him. When he returned, Ryan raised his glass in a mock toast.
See?
I told you. You belong like this. Alex's stomach twisted.
Did he?
The night spiraled from there. Ryan introduced him to people as Alexandra. He laughed at jokes, sipped a drink, even danced awkwardly to a song he didn't know. For brief moments, he forgot himself, lost in the illusion. But then, just past midnight, his phone buzzed. It was Emma. Hey, I'm outside your place. Surprise. Thought I'd spend the night. Smiley face. Alex's chest went cold. Panic surged through him. Emma was at the apartment. His wig, his clothes, everything was scattered across his room. If she found them... Ryan, Alex hissed, shoving the phone in his face. We have to go.
Now.
Ryan's smirk faltered. Relax. She probably won't even. No. Alex's voice cracked. If she sees... He couldn't finish. He didn't have to. Ryan grabbed the keys, and they left the bar in a rush. The drive back felt endless. Alex's hands shook as he pulled the wig off in the car, smudging his lipstick against the back of his hand. His reflection in the window looked monstrous, half Alexandra, half Alex, trapped between two selves. When they reached the apartment, Emma was already inside, sitting on the couch with a smile that faltered the second she saw him. Her eyes narrowed. Her gaze flicked from the smeared lipstick to the wrinkled dress peeking from beneath his coat. Alex, she said slowly, confusion lacing her voice. What's going on?
His throat closed.
Words wouldn't come. Ryan hovered behind him, silent for once, his usual grin gone. Emma stood, arms crossed. Is there something you need to tell me? The room spun. The heels dug into his feet like knives. His secret, their secret, was about to shatter everything. And for the first time, Alex realized there was no going back. The night ended in chaos. Emma demanded answers. Ryan deflected. Alex stammered, every excuse crumbling under Emma's sharp gaze. She stormed out, her words echoing in his ears. Figure yourself out before you come near me again. Alex collapsed onto the couch, tears smearing what was left of his makeup. His chest ached with shame and relief all at once. The truth was out, part of it at least. Ryan sat beside him, unusually quiet. Finally, he spoke. You know, maybe this isn't such a bad thing. Alex turned on him, furious. You ruined everything. No, Ryan said softly. You ruined nothing. Emma just saw what I've seen all along. This is you. The real you. And sooner or later, you're gonna have to stop pretending otherwise. Alex buried his face in his hands. He hated Ryan for being right. But the story didn't end there. The next morning, Alex woke to find a box outside his bedroom door. Inside were a new pair of heels, sleek, tall, impossibly elegant. Another note rested on top. Forever looks good on you. Alex's hands trembled as he held them. He wanted to throw them away.
To burn them.
To pretend none of this had ever happened. But deep down, he knew the truth. He couldn't go back. And maybe, just maybe, he didn't want to. The party's chaos still echoed in Alex's mind long after the music had stopped. He sat on the edge of his bed, makeup smeared, hair tangled, and heels still strapped painfully to his feet. Every nerve in his body screamed with exhaustion, but something deeper, something sharper, kept him awake. Ryan leaned casually against the doorway, arms folded, watching him. There was no laughter this time, no joking smirk. Only a strange, unreadable intensity in his eyes. "You were incredible tonight," Ryan said at last. No one even questioned it. They didn't see Alex. They saw her. Alex's stomach tightened. Her. The word rang like a bell in his chest, heavy and electric all at once. "This has gone too far," Alex whispered, voice hoarse. "I can't, Ryan. I can't live like this." Ryan stepped forward slowly, crouching in front of him. His hand reached out, gently lifting Alex's chin. "Can't you?" he asked softly. "Because from where I'm standing, you've never looked more alive." Tears burned at the edges of Alex's eyes. He wanted to argue, to shout, to rip the wig and makeup off and throw it in Ryan's face. But instead, he stayed frozen, trembling in silence. Ryan leaned in closer, his breath warm against Alex's ear. "And the best part," he whispered, "tomorrow, everyone's going to expect to see her again. Not Alex." Alex's heart plummeted. "What do you mean?" he croaked. Ryan straightened, that old playful smirk sliding back onto his face, but now it carried something darker. "Let's just say, I might have made sure a few pictures found their way online. The world has already met your prettier side." Alex's blood turned cold. His mind spun with terror, shame, and a flicker of something he couldn't name, something dangerously close to excitement. He stared up at Ryan, trembling, mascara streaks shining under the dim light. His life as he knew it was hanging by a thread, and tomorrow, that thread would snap. Would he fight it? Or let himself fall? The answer was coming whether he wanted it or not.